Bonjour à tous. Sudeep and Trivendra presents French artists.
Histoire des artistes français.
History of art in France. The story of Western art is a long one, and most countries have played their part, but over the centuries, two countries have played a greater part in defining Western art other than most, which are Italy and France.
For many thousands of years, art evolved very slowly, if at all. By Roman times, it had reached a degree of sophistication, but little remained in France of Rome art beyond some fine sculptures and intricate mosaics. Not much remains either of early medieval art, most of historical art and architecture in France dating from the past thousand years.
In the visual arts, it was in the 19th century that France re emerged as a world leader, and Paris came to be seen as the world capital of art. Artistes français.
French artists.
Eugène Delacroix from 1798 to 1863.
Eugène Delacroix was the foremost artist of French Romantic era in the 19th century and is considered to be the most significant French artist of his time. His vivid use of color and highly expressive brushstrokes greatly influenced Impressionism. Unlike Jean-Auguste and other neoclassic artists who sought perfection in form, Delacroix rather put a focus on movement and color. Camille Pissarro from 1830 to 1903.
Camille Pissarro was born on island of St. Thomas on 10th of July 1830. He was an impressionist and neo-impressionist painter, with his greatest contributions having come from those two movements in particular. His work in neo-impressionist style began at the later stage when he was 54 years old.
Liberty Leading the People by Eugène Delacroix.
Two Women Chatting by the Sea by Camille Pissarro.
Paul Cézanne from 1839 to 1906.
Paul Cézanne is the most famous French painter from the post-impressionist movement. He is known for bridging the gap between French painters of 19th century Impressionism and Cubism, the most prominent movement in the early part of the 20th century. Edgar Degas from 1834 to 1917.
Edgar Degas, born in Paris, France, also worked with prints, drawing, and bronze sculpture. He is most well known for his impressionist oil paintings. More than half of his paintings deal with subject matter of dancers dancing. The depiction of movement was a particular interest to him.
The Bathers by Paul Cézanne.
The Ballet Class by Edgar Degas. Claude Monet from 1840 to 1926.
Claude Monet was born on 14th of November 1840. Oscar Claude Monet is to be considered one of the most famous French painters of all time and is considered the founder and father of Impressionism. He attempted to paint nature as he viewed it subjectively. Pierre Auguste Renoir from 1841 to 1919.
Considered a leader amongst other French Impressionist movement painters, Pierre-Auguste Renoir was one of the most prolific French painters of the 19th century. He focused on painting's intimate composition of people in candid situation and poses. Honuach celebrated the feminine form and themes of beauty and sensuality, and it has been said by historians that the French artist's work was the final representation of an old tradition that ran from Peter Paul Rubens to Jean Antoine.
Impression Sunrise by Claude Monet.
Dance at Les Moulins de la Galette by Pierre-Auguste Renoir.
Paul Gauguin from 1848 to 1903.
Paul Gauguin is one of the most famous French painters from the post-impressionist era. Born in 1848, it wasn't until after he died in 1903 that he gained posthumous fame for his artworks. Art historians now appreciate his synthetic aesthetic and experimentations with colors, distinguishing them from the work of his preceding Impressionist movement. He spent a decade towards the end of his life living in Tahiti, French Polynesia, and his paintings portrayed the local landscape and inhabitant from that region. Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec from 1864 to 1901.
Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec is known mostly for his late 19th century depiction of Parisian nightlife and the personalities and scenes associated with the city. The Parisian painter was known as the person to take aesthetics of advertising and elevate it to something more akin to fine art. Moulin Rouge by Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec.
Tahitian Women on the Beach by Paul Gauguin.
George Baker from 1882 to 1963.
Georges Bach was a highly influential French artist of 20th century. His work during 1908 and 1912 is often associated with that of Pablo Picasso, a peer of even greater recognition and fame within the art community. However, during this period, the work produced by both Cubist artists was virtually indistinguishable from one another. One of the finest examples of Georges Bach's work is the masterpiece Bottle and Fishes. Henri Matisse from 1869 to 1954.
Henri Matisse is considered by many art historians to be one of the most influential artists of modern art and the finest colorist of 20th century, working in a multitude of mediums including painting, printmaking, paper cutouts and sculptures. This famous French painter is mostly known for his artwork in style of Fauvism.
Bottle and Fishes by Georges Bach.
La Dose by Henri Matisse. In the 21st century, art is one of the most major attractions of France as a tourist destination. People come from all over the world to admire France's museum and art galleries, its stunning medieval architecture, its great Renaissance chateau, its artistic and cultural heritage in general.
Merci, monsieur.